Extremely controversial movies. Creating a piece of art has never been an easy task. It takes more than just the blood and sweat of the artist. For a truly remarkable work of art, an artist has to immerse themselves in his or her milieu. In doing so, he or she gets closer to the naked reality of the society and its workings. This then gets reflected in the art. At times, the artists get so deeply involved that they get carried away. In the process, they forget to soften the edges of the art piece or intentionally leave it rough to maximize the impact on the viewers. This then gives rise to conflicts between the art and the society at large, thereby causing outrage and controversies even before getting released. In this video, we are going to talk about 10 of the most controversial movies ever, so if you're interested, then please keep watching. Number 1. Cannibal Holocaust, 1980. Released in 1980, this Italian horror movie is the work of director Ruggero Deodato, aka Monsieur Cannibal. The film follows a team of an anthropologist from New York who are on a mission to find another team that went into the Amazon rainforest to film culture and practices of cannibal tribes. Deodato's work was inspired by media coverage of Red British terrorism and documentaries made by director Gualtiero Jacopati. Deodato was of the opinion that the coverage on terrorism was staged, and that was his core idea behind the film Cannibal Holocaust. The film was banned in over 50 countries and censored by many others. So true was the depiction of death scenes in the film that Deodato was charged with murder. He went on to successfully prove his innocence in court with the help from the actors who testified for him, describing the special effects used by him in filming those scenes. In later years, various critics considered the film to be a scathing commentary on the exploitation of third world countries by the developed ones, ethical practices in journalism, and practices of modern civilization. However, Deodato has categorically denied having any such intentions. Number 2. The Interview, 2014. Starring James Franco and Seth Rogen, The Interview is a comedy film in which two journalists who have secured an interview with the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un were recruited by the CIA to assist in his assassination. The movie was so controversial that North Korea warned to respond with merciless retaliation if the movie is released. The extreme political backdrop of the movie led some to believe that the movie was a direct attack on North Korea. Just before its scheduled release in 2014, a group of hackers hacked into Sony Pictures threatening to release important documents unless the film was shelved. They later leaked several internal emails, employee records, and a host of unreleased films such as Still Alice and To Write Love on Her Arms. The hackers also threatened that they would disrupt the premiere of the movie in New York. Their message included a warning for Sony to not produce any movies in the future angering North Korea. In June 2014, the North Korean government also threatened the US of repercussion if Sony released the film. Bogged down by these incidents, Sony pulled the movie from the theaters and decided to make it available on VOD instead. The Interview went on to become Sony's most successful digital release, earning $40 million in digital rentals over and worldwide earnings of $12.3 million. Despite a raging political storm, the film received a lukewarm response from the critics and the fans. Number 3. Exodus, Gods and Kings, 2014. Ridley Scott's magnum opus, Exodus, Gods and Kings, is a movie based on the biblical event where Hebrews were exiled from Egypt. They were led across the Red Sea by Moses. The movie got mired in the controversy over its whitewashing of important mythical characters. The film had Christian Bale, Joel Edgerton, and Sigourney Weaver in the leading roles, even though their characters were of Egyptian descent. Scott hired ethnic actors for the roles of slaves, civilians, and servants. Movie fans and critics mounted a social media campaign termed Boycott Exodus Movie prior to its release in theaters. The film was banned in Egypt by the Egyptian government on the grounds that the film presents an inaccurate description of history. The film also drew a lot of criticism from UAE government as was not cleared for release in the country. Number 4. Joker, 2019. The Joker has been one of the most loved and loathed comic characters of all time. Audiences at once identify with the struggle of Arthur Fleck's life and are revolted by the murderous turns his character takes before he goes on to become the Joker terrorizing Gotham City. The movie, directed by Todd Phillips, where the character of Arthur Fleck is played by Joaquin Phoenix, showcases the transformation of Arthur from an inspiring comedian to a person who enjoys violence. Even though the film won a Golden Lion at the 2019 Venice Film Festival and went on to get several nominations at the Oscars, it was widely criticized for its depiction of violence and invoking empathy for its lead character. After the film's premiere at Venice and Toronto Film Festivals, critics categorically termed it as a dangerous, disturbing, and toxic movie. It was also pointed out by many that the film only furthers the idea of finding an excuse for the violent acts of white men. However, despite all the outrage surrounding the movie, it went on to earn over $1 billion worldwide. Number 5. Jojo Rabbit, 2019. Written and directed by the celebrated Taika Waititi, Jojo Rabbit is a movie that will keep you in a constant tug-of-war situation. The movie skillfully combines silly humor with a realistic depiction of Nazi atrocities. While this mixed bag of emotion might not appeal to everyone's taste, it sure does spark uncomfortable questions. Based on the events that occurred during the Second World War, the movie hits on people with satire who hate or propagate hate on the basis of ethnicity, a phenomenon which is again on the rise in today's world. The film very shrewdly points out people on both sides of the aisle who are engaged in contempt and dismissal. It proves its point empathically, and there are good people on every side. Number 6. Ghost in the Shell, 2017. In line with Exodus, Gods and Kings, and Aloha, Rupert Sanders' remake of Ghost in the Shell starring Scarlett Johansson found itself at the forefront of the whitewashing controversy. Based on the popular Japanese manga series, where the central cast is a Japanese woman, Motoka Kusanagi, the film failed miserably at the US box office as a result of this controversy. Paramount Pictures, along with the director Sanders, tried to defend their choice of casting a white woman for an ethnic character. However, the fans and critics did accept their point that since the central character is cyborg, it cannot be of any particular ethnicity. The movie fits into the long-drawn practice of whitewashing central characters in Hollywood. More often than not, it's a case of getting a well-known star to play the lead roles for a great result at the box office. Number 7. The Hunt, 2020. Directed by Craig Zobel, The Hunt is a satirical thriller that shows rich white elites hunting the poor and downtrodden as part of a sport. The movie found itself in the middle of various controversies and widespread resentment as soon as the reports about its plot got out. Universal first pulled down all the promotional campaigns after there were cases of mass shootings in Dayton, Ohio, and El Paso in Texas. Critics were of the view that the movie might add to the already negative atmosphere with its extremely violent scenes. The movie got itself into another storm when the Hollywood Reporter pointed out that the people being haunted in the movie are called deplorables. This had even President Trump criticizing it and terming it very dangerous. The studio then postponed the release date of the movie until further notice. Number 8. Mother, 2017. With Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem on the helm, Mother, a psychological flick directed by Darren Aronofsky, evokes a heart-wrenching response in its viewers. The film, which is gory and garish to say the least, has earned itself an F cinema score. The film was booed by the audience when it premiered at the Venice Film Festival in 2017. The film is clearly a case of a director turning into a loose cannon and taking it too far. Though the entire movie makes for a visceral experience, it's the last section of the film which really takes its toll on the viewer's psyche. Towards the end, the character of Lawrence is mercilessly beaten, and stills of bruised Lawrence were later used for promotion, receiving criticism for monetizing violence towards women. Aronofsky later clarified that the movie serves as an allegory to all the wrong humans have done to the planet Earth. Number 9. Cruising, 1980. With Al Pacino in the leading role, director William Friedkin's Cruising is a story of a cop who goes undercover in the Manhattan's S&M gay world to uncover a psychopathic killer. Adapted from a novel of the same name, the movie was widely criticized for stigmatizing gay movements. The shooting of the film and its promotion were regularly interrupted by gay rights protesters. The plot of the film refuses to delve deeper into its central character's sexual ambivalence and resorts to caricaturish depictions of gay people. The film lacks the right perspective needed to deal with such a subject matter. Many critics have noted that the film is one of the worst depictions of homosexuality. And finally, number 10, Crash, 1996. Based on a novel of the same name by J.G. Ballard, David Cronenberg's psychological thriller follows a group of symphophiliacs who get aroused by car crashers. The film received divergent reviews from the critics. While few applauded the film for daring to go into unprecedented territory, others condemned it for its portrayal of graphic sexual acts that were triggered by violence or tragic events. Dailies like the Daily Mail and the Evening Standard mounted aggressive campaigns to ban the movie in the United Kingdom. In the United States, the film was released in 2 versions, with NC-17 and R ratings respectively. In Italy, people were so offended by the film's plot that they demanded Cronenberg to return his Cannes Award.